Hi, my name's Dave Gascoigne, technician at JMI, and I'd like to tell you a little bit about our AC30 and give you some tips and advice on getting the best out of your amplifier. First, disassembly. Always make sure it's fully disconnected from the mains power supply for at least 20 minutes to let the capacitors discharge. Always take note of these two center screws. They're smaller than the back mounting screws. So we'll disconnect take out the screws. And let you have a look inside the amplifier. Notice the construction, built just like the originals in the 60s, with the original style tag board, all hand wired, using the highest quality components. This model's got the top boost fitted. It's very important that you don't mix up the back cover screws. The two screws which go in the chassis, 25mm shorter ones, and the rear cover mounting screws are 35mm in length, the longer screws. So I'd now like to show you how to remove the chassis. It comes out on the plinth. First, disconnect the loudspeaker, making note of the connections. On the connector block, the centre connection goes to the black wire to the speaker, and the red wire goes to the bottom to the blue wire. That's the 16 ohm tap. It's very important that you reconnect it to the correct place. The top unused connection is an 8 ohm tap. So we'll disconnect the speakers and pull them through. It's important that you keep hold of the foot switch, which is hardwired to the amplifier. Simply ease the chassis out, and we'll just lay it down on the bench. So now we've got the amplifier out of the cabinet, and you probably can see a better view of the method of construction with the vintage style tag boards, the best quality components, built just like the originals from the 60s. Let's turn the chassis round, give you an overview. The transformers are UK made to the original Albion spec from the 60s. The larger one, of course, is the mains transformer, the power transformer, and this one's the output transformer. And this is the choke. 4 EL84s, the output tubes, GZ34 rectifier, and 5 preamp tubes. We'll talk about the preamp tubes. We'll talk about all the output tubes later. It's very important that you have the voltage selector set to the right voltage for your particular country. It has got settings of 240 volts for the UK market, 230 volts for Europe, 115 for the USA, and 100 volts for Japan. Do make sure at all times it's set to the correct voltage, because incorrect settings can cause problems. Fuses. There is a main power fuse at the top, which is a 38mm, 1.25 inch, 3 amp for two 30 volts and two 40 volts. The fuse should be 5 amps for USA and the Far East. It's very important that you do fit the correct fuse, that it's an anti-surge time delay fuse, and it should be checked by replacement. Failure of this fuse will result in a completely dead amplifier, so always check this fuse first if the amplifier is dead. There is a second fuse, HT fuse, just here, which is a 500 milliamp fast flow fuse. Again, it's 38mm, 1.25 inch. This fuse should be 500 milliamps, and it's the same value no matter which region of the world you are from. So that's a 500 milliamp HT fuse. Failure of this fuse will result in the amplifier having no output. However, the power light will still be lit. The most frequent cause of failure of the main power fuse and the HT fuse is the GZ34 rectifier tube failure. So in case of fuse blowing, do check the GZ34 by replacement. Failure of one or more of the EL84 output tubes can also cause fuse failure, either the HT fuse or the main power fuse. So in the event of intermittent or fuse blowing, do also check the output tubes. But the main culprit is usually the GZ34 rectifier. There's 5 preamp tubes in the AC30, 6 if it's got the top boost module. The only important thing to note is the very centre tube is an ECC82. If you should just take all the tubes out, it's quite easy to get them mixed up and fit the ECC82 in the wrong place. So do take note that the very centre tube is an ECC82. All the other tubes are ECC83s. The 4 EL84 output tubes can fail and give various symptoms, such as low distorted output, or they can arc, or you may have one tube completely out. A good easy way of checking if all the tubes are functioning, give you a rough idea, is to feel the temperature. But always check towards the top of the tube. All 4 tubes should run round about equal temperature. If you get a tube that's running really cold, really cool, then it's quite likely that tube has failed. The top boost module does introduce a little hum. The top boost design is the original 60s design. We didn't think it would be appropriate to alter the original 60s design, and also our customers like these amplifiers to be just the same as the originals. During playing, when a guitar's plugged in, this hum is minimised. You can hardly hear it. If you're not using the bright channel, the top boost, then you can minimise the hum by putting the bass to minimum and the treble to maximum.